Welcome to the Gig Show, where we speak to artists in the entertainment field, musicians, comedians, we hope someday, and actors in the theatrical field, people that aspire to have gigs, people who have had gigs, people that, I don't know, want to have gigs in the future. Anyway, I'm your host, Jim Dorman, here with my co-host, the Boston bad boy, Dangerous Dan Cody, professional musician now for about 40 years.
And
How's
counting.
it going? And counting,
Yes.
right? Is that right?
Yes.
Should I mention that?
Yeah, that's okay. You know, we don't go backwards, so
Right.
we count forward.
Wow. So as we tape today is July 15th. You might not see it for a little bit, but we're in the middle of summer. How's your summer going, Dan?
Pretty good. Enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know, the weather's a little off, but what are you gonna do? You roll with it.
A little hot here and there, a little crazy rainstorm, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you've been playing and stuff, right?
Yeah, gigs kind of keep popping up and rolling in. Acoustic gigs, SPX, recording. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. So it's good. It's good to keep it
stuff.
rolling.
Now, one thing I was thinking of was a year ago that you opened up for Joni Mitchell at the Newport Folk Festival. Is that accurate?
I was lucky enough to be able to play on the Newport Folk Festival Foundation stage,
Right.
which is just directly off the main stage at Fort Adams. So it's a limited time limit. There's usually about an hour, and I was lucky to get on the list to get up and play at Newport, one of my own songs. So that was a big thrill. And later that day, the final act was Joni Mitchell. Which
that's amazing. Anyway,
great beginning and a great ending.
Right. I mean, I joke, but that's an awesome achievement.
Yeah.
One of your original songs at the Newport Folk Festival,
Yeah.
and so it might be in the rearview mirror by the time our show airs or by the time you're watching this. But you're doing that again this year.
Yes.
Right.
So excited to do it, and I might do a song that I'm currently writing, so something nobody's ever heard, or I might do one that I've released. So we'll figure it out that day.
Lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're really excited for our guests today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have Anika Franco joining us today, who is an accomplished guitarist who graduated from Berklee School of Music in 2022.
Berklee College of Music.
What did I say?
Berklee College.
Berklee College of Music. Oh, thank you. So she and this is kind of we have a little series going on here. I think with Berklee. I have visions someday they're going to give us like one of those honorary degrees, maybe.
I think so. Doctorate.
We got to think big.
PhD. That's right. Shoot for the moon.
But so she went to Berklee. I'm sorry. The series. We got to go with the series. This is maybe the third installment. We had John and Julie Finn, guitarist extraordinaire.
Correct. Berklee graduates.
Berklee, yeah, and John's a teacher there.
Yeah.
Julie, I think she recently got her graduate degree just this year, and we had a great show with them. Really enjoyed having them on, and I believe they know Anika as well. And we also had Morgan Ashley on with Joe Janess. Morgan's a vocalist from Berklee. So anyway, we're continuing that Berklee thing. We like it.
Yeah, it's a great school. It's a great college.
Right. Okay, so kind of some cool things before we bring her out and she performs a little bit with us. But Anika grew up in Peru, Lima, Peru, and became interested in guitar at an early age. Kind of likes a lot of stuff that, from way back, back in the 80s, some music like Joe Satriani and Steve Vai, a lot of other people, and Aerosmith, which she'll tell us more about that, but it's kind of cool. Sounds kind of cool that she's into that music and she's a guitarist. She's playing gigs out, I think, by herself and also with a band, and some of that might be a little bit of throwback music too, but I think it's going to sound good. So. She's doing a lot, but when we bring her out, we'll talk to her about all those things. But first thing we're going to do is have her come out and do a song, and the song is a Steve Vai song called "The Crying Machine." So here's Anika Franco with "The Crying Machine," and we'll see you in a moment. Well, welcome back. Now we have our guest, Anika Franco. Anika, that was a fantastic performance.
Thank you so much.
I just really enjoyed the tone and it's just so melodic playing. Just love that. So, well, anyway, we're happy to have you here. We want to talk a little bit about kind of where you come from and everything. It's especially obviously growing up in Peru, kind of your musical influences. Like, how did you get into the guitar and the type of music that you like and play?
Well, I got into guitar when I was about 11 years old after playing Guitar Hero Aerosmith, which was my favorite band at the time.
Yeah.
So I was just playing the game, and then I was like, I'm really good at this, right? And then I'm like, wait, you're not going to get anywhere from playing a video game,
Yeah.
or maybe, I don't know. But I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. So I started taking lessons at home. It was mostly like, my teacher teaching me my favorite songs by AC/DC or some Aerosmith, some other stuff that I used to listen back then. But when I graduated high school, I would say that's when I started taking it more serious and decided that I wanted to go to Berklee. So,
Right.
yeah, it all started because of Guitar Hero, I would say.
That's amazing. I know in working in high school, some people knew a lot of the older artists through Guitar Hero, which I thought was still pretty cool. If they knew some certain songs that we liked back in the 70s or the 80s. So,
Great way to introduce people to that music
Yeah.
through a video game.
I've seen some musicians out there trying to play their songs against the Guitar Hero. Anyway,
And they have a tough time.
yeah, they're like, oh,
sometimes.
wait.
I was really good at it. So.
Where you were good at it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's. Did you know about Berklee? How did you first hear about Berklee and the school?
Oh, about Berklee, it was because one of my teachers who would teach me at home, he mentioned Berklee, and I was like, oh, what is that? So I did some research, and I was like, this looks cool, so
Yeah.
let's aim for that.
Was it hard to the whole process of getting in? Was that difficult?
It was a lot of pressure because, to get into Berklee, there's an audition, and it was my first audition, so my first audition ever for like a guitar-related thing. So
Right.
it was very intimidating at first, but, it worked out.
Yeah. That must have been a big transition coming from Peru to Boston.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't like shocking because I had been to the States before with my
Okay.
family for holidays, or because I also have some relatives in the States. I had never been to Boston before, but I thought it was great. I was very excited to get started and meet new
Yeah.
people, play with cool musicians, and learn a lot from the best guitarists. So, yeah, it was a good transition, in my opinion.
Right.
Now, when you started playing guitar, did you play acoustic or was it electric?
I first started in an acoustic. It was just it was a nylon string, not exactly a classical, but it was just
Right.
a guitar for me to learn. I picked up the acoustic at 11 years old, and I was playing TNT by AC/DC on it.
Nice.
But then on my 12th birthday, I got my SG. It's not here today, but you'll see it in my social media.
Yeah.
What's the first song or a couple songs you remember hearing
Hearing or playing?
and then wanting to play?
Good question. It was definitely... Oh, actually, I saw Orianthe in Michael Jackson's This Is It, and that's when I was like, guitar is really cool. But then when I listened to the Big Ones album by Aerosmith, I was like, these guitar riffs are so cool. Like, for example, the Love in an Elevator, Eat the Rich,
Yeah.
Crazy, all of those songs. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to play this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
and,
it-
on Guitar Hero, there was these songs, like, from their first album, I think it was Make It and Moving Out from Aerosmith, that I was like, I want to learn this in
Great.
actual guitar, not in the video game.
Great taste. You have great taste in
I think so,
Music.
yeah.
Did any of the music you hear growing up besides this, like, did that influence you at all? Like any of the music, like maybe we aren't as familiar with from Peru?
Like Peruvian music?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, there are some Peruvian rock bands that are really cool, but they were not really my motivation because I didn't really grow up listening to them. I
Right.
knew of them, and I've been to a lot of festivals in Peru, which are really, really fun because you know all the lyrics and all that. But no, my biggest influences were because my father used to love rock and roll, so that's how I got into Aerosmith, and then by myself I started listening to Kiss, AC/DC. Also, then when I was like 15, I got into Metallica and Iron Maiden, so yeah. But no, I don't think that many Peruvian bands were that much of a big influence. But Charlie Parra del Riego, he's an amazing Peruvian shredder, so
Yeah.
he had a big impact, I would say.
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody noticed that maybe you bring a little different touch to it or style to it. When you got here, what was it like getting used to Boston and
It was exciting because, you know, my first semester I was in the dorms and, you know, first semester you're mostly partying and all that, but
Right.
It is a really good time, but it was exciting more than intimidating or something.
But you had that difficult time coming right in the middle of COVID.
No, my first semester was summer 2019, but then during my third semester, spring 2020, that's when it hit, and it was really depressing because all of the classes changed to remotely, and you don't get to play with your teachers or jam with your friends.
It's
so
tough.
yeah, it was really, really tough.
Talk about your gigs. Where you've been playing gigs and different types of gigs, and what's your experience been so far?
It's been great. So I remember because I came back to Boston in fall 2021, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm a performance major. I gotta get started with some more gigs. So I took as many gigs as I could at Berklee. I started working for the voice department at Berklee as a guitar accompanist. A lot of sight reading there. Yes, on my guitar, so I sight read. But yeah, and I started meeting more people, and they would ask me to play guitar for their gigs, also to record the original material, which was very exciting. Especially, I would say that spring 2022 was my my peak with all the shows. I had a lot of fun playing around Berklee, but after I graduated, I wanted to start, getting out of the Berklee bubble and start playing some bars or whoever I was working with. So I played at venues in Somerville like The Jungle or Warehouse. I have my own project, Valhalla, that's played at the Burren, also The Jungle, and some artists that I work for example, Remy Ruskin, the band is called Remy, but the artist is called Remy Ruskin. We play around the Massachusetts area, like shows up in Worcester, so yeah, not just Boston, we also try to get out. And a couple weeks ago with my friend Jessica Woodley, she's an amazing artist that I play guitar for, I also record for her, we went to New York and we played at Heaven Can Wait and Rockwood Music Hall, and it was amazing. So yeah, and tonight I also have a gig with Jessica at a house show. That's another thing in the college area that's very popular.
So how does that work with you two? What does she play?
Jessica is a singer-songwriter. Okay. She also plays some guitar, but I'm her lead guitarist. I throw in the solos, I throw in the riffs.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, she gives me her original material, and I play it for her.
Okay.
How do you kind of approach that? Do you spend a lot of time with the music, or do you kind of go with kind of your initial instinct as to what to play? When
it comes to singer-songwriters that I work for, you just gotta do what they tell you. So if they tell you play like this, you play like that, because it's at the end of the day it's the original material, and they know it better than anybody else. So you gotta follow the leader. Yeah.
do you think you see yourself more as a solo artist, a side person, or I know we have a good friend that's he's been playing a long time with a lot of great people, and he sees himself as a side man. He likes playing. Yeah, he does that. He likes to be able to kind of go in and jump in with different types of bands, or tour with it, or record with other people, and that just kind of fits his personality. But what are your thoughts on that? Would you want to be out front? Or?
I'm a little bit of both, because it's Jessica Woodley, it's Remy, it's their own project, and I'm their side musician, but I really like that, and maybe at some point I would like to work for even more people, maybe be Steve Vai's second guitarist at some point. But I also really like with my own project, I mean, usually the singer is the front, but lead guitar can also take the spotlight sometimes, but yeah, at some point I would like to have my own solo project, but I really enjoy working for other people, so I would say I can also be on the side, but also at some point be my own project.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have your the people that you said you're influenced by and how they play, like Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, and others. Oh, you mentioned Ace Frehley. Oh, no, you mentioned Kiss. So I thought of Ace Frehley. Are you an Ace Frehley fan?
Like, not huge, but yeah, I think he's great.
Okay, all right. Yeah, he's coming in August to Plymouth.
Correct.
No way, he's over here.
Yeah, well, Kiss is on their final tour or whatever for the last few years or whatever. So I think they're supposed to wrap it up in December, and between Dan and our friend Mark Regalabuto and some others, I didn't catch on to the Kiss train, but I got a little interested after seeing some interviews and things like that. Anyway, Ace kind of started fascinating me a little bit.
Exciting.
I was there in the beginning.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, Kiss Army.
Yeah, Kiss Army. So let's see. What about you? Tell us a little more about your band. What's the idea of that band, Valhalla?
Oh, Valhalla, right. So it's a cover band because this band was formed back in October last year, and I really like playing for other people, but I was like, hey, I also want to start playing the songs that I listen to, say some songs by Poison, by Ozzy Osbourne, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, as you guys already heard that I really like. So I was like, okay, I'll put on my own project. And I was thinking, going back to my senior recital at Berklee, that's like the final exam for a performance major, which I was. So I was like, I really had fun leading, and okay, let's give it a go. So I put this band together, but it wasn't just classic rock, because during early 2021, I got a lot into pop culture and anime stuff. So I started listening to some Japanese music as well, like J-pop, J-rock. So the band back then was a mix of both, but now I want to change the focus, because, I mean, we got some great opportunities with the anime music. We got to play at the convention at the Sheraton Anime Boston, which is like huge, and it was a really good time.
Yeah.
But now I want to go back to my roots and get more into the classic rock again, some glam metal, hair metal. Yeah. That's actually the reason why I play guitar. So yeah, I'm gonna change the focus a little bit and go back to my roots with this cover band.
Cool.
Do you write? Talk about composing your own music and writing. How do you?
I was never like huge into composing, but I want to start getting into it, because you know, if I want to follow the steps of my heroes like Vi and Satriani, I gotta have my own stuff. So I've written a couple tunes right there, but like. Yeah, that was like back in the spring, but I didn't really spend that much time because I got busy playing for other people or with the cover band or my job at Berklee. So yeah, but at some point later this year, I would like to continue with writing and maybe release some music. They'll be very new, pretty much new for me, but it'll be exciting.
Do you picture that as instrumental or with vocals, lyrics?
No, I really want to do the instrumentals like Vi and Satch. So yeah,
it's great. It's a great way to. It's a great form of songwriting. I remember when Joe Satriani came out, the first album, it was unbelievable to hear the not only the technical ability, but the melodic sensibility.
Oh, he's fantastic for that.
Instrumentals can be very tough to do and compose, to have it really cross over. That melodic sensibility really translates to almost a lyrical, in my opinion, a lyrical.
No, 100% agree with you, because you know, I saw Joe Satriani back in November 5th last year, and I remember during If I Could Fly, everyone was singing along, and you know, no need for lyrics, just singing the melody. It was a blast.
That's the mark of a great composer, not only guitarist, but when you can do that, it's pretty special.
Yeah, so unique.
Good luck.
Have you ever gotten to meet any of your heroes?
Well, I met Rep Beach from Winger last Friday, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was fun.
How did that happen?
Because, so Scott Taruli, shout out to Scott, who's amazing. He's a Berklee faculty, but we're like really good friends, so he was like... I was with my friend Melissa Henderson, who's also an amazing guitarist, and we were gonna hang out, and then Scott comes into my office, and he's like, I'm gonna go see Winger tonight. I'm like, what? Winger's touring here? And he was like, yeah, you girls should go. And we went there, and then Scott was like, girls, I'll introduce you to Rep Beach. And we're like, wait, what? And yeah, he's a really cool guy, and he sounded fantastic. Do you guys like Winger at all?
I know Winger, yeah, I remember them. They were back.
They're cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back in the 80s.
Yeah, that 80s stuff.
They had some big songs.
Yeah, good stuff.
Talented.
There's such an evolution of music through the 80s and 90s. Yeah. You've reminded me of quite a bit of it.
Giving you all the flashbacks, Dan.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. So bring some of the stuff back. That's great. Well, I don't know.
I'm trying.
I was, you know. So, but it's kind of, there was some cool stuff, and I think sometimes I don't think of the 80s as having, you know, we think of probably more of some of the electronic things that were going on, and people were getting away from guitar, but then again, we had Stevie Ray Vaughan.
You had Stevie Ray, you had Joe Satriani,
all those guys were there too. Yeah.
They were all there. I think the 80s sometimes, to me, can get a little beat up because of the...
and I'm leading the pack sometimes.
But if you strip things back and you look at some of the songs and really the composition, they're really well done. Did the production get overblown?
Yes. That's my biggest thing.
But that was the sound.
Even Aerosmith kind of got like, I mean, you know, they started getting other people to write the songs with them. And,
you know, things change.
Big videos.
Production
it's the same band from, you know, Toys in the Attic.
Right.
But it was so popular too at the same time. Well, even Eric Clapton, I forget what song. I heard one song and it just had so much of that 80s stuff in it.
Yeah.
Anyway. But you kind of mentioned, all right, the acoustic playing as well, and even classical, is it?
Oh, well, I am currently playing some classical guitar as well, because I became interested because, as you may know, I work for Berklee, and I saw faculty member Berta Rojas, who played at a faculty solo faculty concert, and I was like blown away. So I was like, I'll give it a try. So I'm currently working on it. I'm more of an electric player, but classical guitar is also like a side thing for me, and it's really fun. Very different because of the technique and all the repertoire is a whole different world. But
yeah, because you have
really
a certain way that you position the guitar.
Yeah, you need a footstool and
Footstool,
the
your
position,
fingering,
yeah,
finger picking, and then it's completely different.
very different.
But it sounds beautiful, and if you can do some of that, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to balance, practicing classical and electric, because you're playing electric and then you're like, okay, I'll do some classical, but sometimes you just wish you could spend more time on each, but you always feel like that.
Yeah.
But it's also hard because, I live for electric guitar, and sometimes when I'm with the classical, then I'm like, I kind of want to do electric instead, but I'm like, no, focus. But I also enjoy it, don't get me wrong.
How often do you so is your job like full time?
It is, yeah.
Berklee? So when do you how do you balance like practice time and gig time with that?
It's a lot, especially because we've been really busy with the guitar sessions and the 5-week program at Berklee. So I do get to practice in my office if we're like on a break or something.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I'll practice for a bit.
Yeah.
But sometimes I get home tired sometimes, but practicing is fun. So
That's part of it.
that's like my break. But if you want to get better, you have no choice but to practice. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
because I work 9 to 5, and then because I commute, so I get home at like 6. But I take a break and then I get started.
Good. Yeah, you got to shake it off and get do the work.
It's good to take
playing.
breaks, but you got to do your work.
Yeah. So kind of looking forward, we've kind of touched on a little bit, but what kind of things maybe you see coming up for you as an artist? Any gigs, any projects, things like that?
Well, yeah, I have a lot of gigs scheduled for summer and fall. Sometimes it's just like they let you know 3 days before. They're like, hey, I need a guitar player, and I'm like, okay, how many songs is it? 50. Okay, but
Really?
yeah. Oh my God, when I did this wedding back in October, it was like 2 days before, and it was like 50-song repertoire. I was like, oh my God, by memory. But last time I did a wedding, they let me know a month before, so I was like, okay, better. But back to the question.
Well, you better practice.
Yeah, I did. Trust me, I have a video of me chugging a Monster at like 1 a.m. so that I can finish the set list. But back to the question. I have some gigs scheduled at the Middle East and also the Middle East venue in Cambridge, and also some in Albany, New York, with my own band. I think they want some like pop culture stuff, but we'll see how that goes. I have some gigs with Jessica. I have one tonight. Remy, I think we have some more recording sessions. So yeah, I want to keep playing with this artist, probably start working with some others as well. I want to start writing my own stuff and continue with my cover band. So yeah, and of course continue with my job at Berklee.
Right.
Anika, what's your advice for the young guitarists out there just getting started or getting interested in playing guitar or this type of electric? And what do you say to the younger kids out there?
Well, guitar is very competitive. I believe every instrument is, right? So what I would say is, of course, practice. Spend your time practicing, like get those scales, get your theory, get your sight reading, get everything there. And also, do not compare yourself to others. Don't be like, oh, I'm better than you, or oh, this person is so good, I'll never be like that. No, just be your own person, because at the end of the day, Steve Vai will always be Steve Vai, Joe Satriani will always be Joe Satriani. Like, every player is unique. So there's no need to compare to other people. And you don't want to make, something as fun as guitar to be such a competitive thing and make it into something that's gonna be bad. You want to just make the best out of it. So do not compare yourself to others, and of course, practice. That's the only way to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Practice.
Yeah.
Well, it blows me away. You're playing that we saw earlier. You must obviously practice. I said she's got this down. It's not easy. And you told me about how much, when you've had to learn songs and play with different people, it's just. I try to, if I have like one song, I'm working on it for a while.
Yeah, that's how you do
anyway,
it.
But
Anika, you gonna do another song for us?
I think you guys want me to play Satch Boogie by Joe Satriani.
That'd be awesome. We'll be looking forward to it. So thank you for coming on the show with us today. We really appreciate it, and wish you the best of luck with everything. We'll be definitely following you as things progress, and maybe even you can come back after, and,
for sure. It's been a pleasure.
At some point. That's great. And for our viewers, we hope you come back to see us, and also we'd really love to have you join us on our Facebook page, The Gig Show. I think a lot of you are probably college graduates. You can probably find it out on Facebook, the gig show. Maybe it take a little bit, but we definitely would like to not only get people to watch our show, but also to see other gigs of people that are playing in the area. So get out there and join us. I think we need to get to 100 for some kind. I don't know what kind of prize we get to 100 followers. We're going to get there, though. Anyway, so join us next time on the gig show. But right now, we're going to hear Anika Franco play Satch Boogie.